It begins in silence, not the peaceful kind, but the kind that presses against your ears when the world finally stops distracting you, when the phone is face down, the lights are off, and your mind, so used to noise, starts to turn inward on itself, and that's where most people first brush against the idea of something more, something hidden just beneath the surface of ordinary awareness, a subtle tension behind the forehead, a strange awareness of your own thoughts watching themselves, and in that moment, the concept of the third eye stops being a mystical cliché and starts to feel like a real, almost physical phenomenon, not because there's an actual eye opening, but because your brain is doing something unusual. It's shifting from passive perception into active observation of itself, a state psychologists often associate with heightened metacognition, where you're no longer just thinking. You're aware that you are thinking, and that awareness, when sustained long enough, begins to distort your sense of reality in subtle ways, making the familiar feel distant and the internal feel more vivid than the external, and this is where the line between grounded introspection and altered consciousness starts to blur, because the human brain is not designed to constantly observe itself without consequence. It starts to amplify signals that are usually filtered out, like the faint pulsing behind your eyes, the random flashes of imagery that normally disappear before you notice them, the echoes of thoughts that seem to come from nowhere, and as you sit there longer, focusing, breathing slower, letting your body relax while your mind remains alert, you may begin to feel a pressure building in the center of your forehead, not painful, but undeniable, like a muscle you didn't know you had is being activated, and logically, this can be explained as increased blood flow, heightened neural activity in the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for attention and self-awareness. But subjectively, it feels like something awakening, something ancient and powerful, and that's where the narrative of the third eye opening takes hold, not as a literal event, but as a symbolic interpretation of a very real cognitive shift, a shift that can be both fascinating and destabilizing depending on how far you push it, because once you start paying attention to your inner world with that level of intensity, it doesn't take long before your perception of your body itself begins to change. You start to notice the boundaries of your physical form less clearly, your limbs feel heavier or lighter than they should, your breathing becomes automatic yet distant, as if it's happening to someone else, and this dissociation, while often described in spiritual terms, is also well documented in neuroscience as a state where the brain temporarily decouples the sense of self from the physical body, often occurring during deep meditation, sensory deprivation, or extreme focus, and it's in this fragile, in-between state that the idea of astral projection emerges. Not as a supernatural escape from the body, but as a powerful illusion created by the brain's ability to simulate reality with astonishing detail, because when sensory input from the external world is reduced and internal imagery is amplified, the brain doesn't just imagine, it constructs entire environments, complete with movement, perspective, and spatial awareness. And if you're not grounded in the understanding of what's happening, it can feel indistinguishable from actually leaving your body. You might feel a sudden vibration, a buzzing that spreads from your chest to your limbs, your heart rate may spike slightly, not out of fear, but because your body is entering a state similar to the early stages of sleep paralysis, where the body is immobilized but the mind remains awake, and this is the critical threshold, the point where many people either panic and snap back to full awareness or lean into the experience and let it unfold, and if you choose the latter, if you allow the sensation to intensify without resisting it, you may feel a distinct shift, as if your center of awareness is no longer anchored to your physical body, as if you are hovering just above it, observing it from a distance, and in that moment, it feels undeniably real, not like a dream, not like imagination, but like a second layer of reality that was always there, waiting to be accessed, and yet, from a rational perspective, what you are experiencing is the brain's remarkable ability to create a fully immersive simulation using memory, expectation, and sensory prediction, the same mechanism that allows you to dream, but with the added clarity of waking consciousness, and this is where the danger lies, not in the experience itself, but in how it is interpreted, because the human mind is wired to seek meaning, to construct narratives that explain what it cannot immediately understand, and without a grounded framework, it's easy to attribute these experiences to external forces, to believe that you are traveling to other dimensions, encountering entities, or accessing hidden truths about the universe, when in reality, you are exploring the deepest layers of your own cognition, and while that is not any less profound, it is fundamentally different from the supernatural explanations that often surround it. And this distinction matters, because the consequences of belief can shape your behavior, your mental health, and your relationship with reality itself. People who become too immersed in these experiences without critical thinking can begin to detach from the physical world, prioritizing their internal experiences over real-world responsibilities, relationships, and logic, leading to a gradual erosion of stability, not because the experiences are inherently harmful, but because the interpretation of them becomes unbalanced. And yet, when approached with awareness and discipline, the exploration of these states can offer valuable insights into the nature of consciousness, attention, and perception. It can teach you how easily your sense of self can be altered, how fragile your grip on reality actually is, and how powerful your mind is in shaping your experience of the world. It can make you more aware of your thoughts, more in control of your focus, and more appreciative of the stability that ordinary consciousness provides, because after experiencing the fluid, unpredictable nature of these altered states, the consistency of everyday reality starts to feel less like a limitation and more like a foundation, something that keeps you anchored while you explore the edges of your awareness. And that's the balance that most people miss. The understanding that you don't need to believe in mystical interpretations to appreciate the depth of these experiences, that the real value lies not in escaping your body, but in understanding it, not in opening a literal third eye, but in recognizing the layers of perception that already exist within you. And as the silence returns, as your breathing steadies and your awareness settles back into your physical form, there's a lingering question that stays with you. Not about whether you left your body or opened some hidden gateway, but about how much of your reality is constructed, how much of what you experience every day is shaped by the same mechanisms that created those vivid, otherworldly sensations. And once you start to see that, once you truly understand that your perception is not a fixed window into reality but a dynamic process shaped by your brain, your attention, and your beliefs, you begin to realize that the real mystery is not what lies beyond your body, but what lies within it, quietly shaping every moment of your existence without you even noticing, until you finally decide to look.